Hello everyone and welcome to my TJ Silver channel. Today I'm going to talk about notebook and journal covers, and one of the reasons I want to do this is people ask if you can make the cover, put it on the book and bake it all in situ. I would say no, and the reason I say no is because I did try this and unfortunately the book came out the oven quite warped. So my recommendation would be to do it on a tile if you can. Now, depending on what size of book you want to do it on, this is what they would class, I believe, an A6. It's about 4.5 by 5. You can do a slightly bigger book like this one, which is an A5, and here you can see I've made tiles up and added these to it. This did have a base too, but this is something that, you know, I've done in stages. I haven't done it all in one go. And that's another reason for using a tile, is if you get to a certain point and you're not too sure where you want to take it, you can put it to one side, cover it over, and then you've still got some work area to work on. Now, also people ask what the best thing is to adhere this to the book once it's baked. I always use super glue. Well, not always, but predominantly I like to use this Gorilla super glue and the gel, if you can get it, because it is a lot easier to use and it's very strong and I've never had a problem. And there is a couple more books here that have had this super glue with it, and this is quite heavily embellished, this one, quite, you know, look at the side, you can see that they are, and there's a couple of glass cabochons on there too, and also the same with this book. Again, you know, there's a lot of work on there, and the last thing you would want is to glue, you know, you work onto the book and then find that 2 or 3 months down the road it's going to fall off because the glue maybe is, I don't know, dried out or something. You know, I don't know quite what happens with glue sometimes, but you know what I mean. It sometimes goes to a point where you can almost just pull it off. Well, I wouldn't want to attempt to pull these off, but the super glue really does work with them. But you can also use the E6000. Nothing wrong with it, I don't mind it. It is a bit gunky, and I do apologise at this point if this is upside down, because for some reason, I don't know why, I can't tell when I'm looking at the camera like this whether I've got this the right way up. So if it is, I apologise. But anyway, as I was saying, this is a bit gunky. Some people don't like it at all. I don't mind it, but I will say this, you do need to work it quite quickly. So if you do put it on a piece, get yourself like some of these little wooden sticks, and they were very cheap, coffee stirrers I think they call them, but or craft sticks, and you can just use that and smooth that out because you don't want lumps of this. And once you've done that, then that will adhere very well too. Now, back to this piece of clay. With little books, depending on the book you're going to use, this has got quite a thin cover, so you don't want anything on it that's going to weigh it down. You don't want the cover to sort of pull and go out of shape. So ideally you want something that's quite light. So 4 to 5 thickness on your pasta machine should be ample, and if you want to add some embellishment, that's good. On a book like this, just be aware you don't want to add too much. You don't want it to be too weighty. You can get obviously slightly tougher books, and this is an A6 book too, and it's got a slightly harder cover. But on something like this, if you would just wanted to embellish it quite simply, you could do something like this. And these were just pieces of cane, and all I did was roll them out onto a sheet quite thinly, roll it through the pasta machine, and then I just used a cutter. And with that you can just put probably 2 or 3 blobs, little blobs of the super glue, and stick them on there, and it just makes it a bit of fun. But yeah, ideally keep it on a tile. Another reason for doing so is if you can get hold of any of these plastic boxes, and this is an A4 plastic box, and simply put that into Amazon or anywhere, and they are brilliant. They're polymer clay safe. They're great for if you want to make some sheets of clay up for projects or whatever. You can store those in here too. I've actually got something in here at the moment which I don't want to show too much until I've finished it, but this is actually on a tile. So again, if you wanted to, if you're someone that maybe goes to a polymer clay guild and you want to take your project with you, it's brilliant because you can put some clay in here too, and maybe some embellishments if that's what you want to do, and everything's safe and it keeps clean. So that's just a few tips for today. Like I say, if you've got any questions, please ask. I will do my best to answer them. And hopefully you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up. And if you wish to just subscribe, then please do so. And hopefully again soon I will be able to give you some more tips on something to do with polymer clay. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.